All right. So I always get asked at your age, what do you do? What keeps you healthy? What keeps you strong? And what do you eat? And so I give a lot of basic answers, and I wanted to explain those things to you guys. It's not a secret, and you've probably heard a lot of these things before. I'm just going to reiterate what I do and what's worked for me. I'm 40 plus, some of you know, and actually 50 plus for the rest of you that don't know. So the number one thing, obviously, in my life, in my world, is exercise. And figuring out what type of exercise is best for you and what do you like to do, quite honestly. Because if you're forced to do something that you're not really interested in or doesn't motivate you or you're not excited to do, it's not going to last very long. So I tell people, listen, find something that works for you. If that's walking every day for an hour, if that's swimming, if that's yoga, if that's doing some martial arts, maybe some HIIT training, which is high intensity interval training, or weights, any and all of the above. Find what works for you and do it consistently. I try to do it 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. I listen to my body. When I was 25, I didn't listen to my body and I just trained every day, all the time. And that's a breakdown, and you start getting injuries and you start having other issues that arise. So if you start to have those things, maybe back off your training and change it up. I think a big issue that a lot of people have is they get kind of stuck with, I can only do this, or I only swim, or I only run, or I only do HIIT training, or whatever. And really your body, kind of like when kids get pigeonholed in one sport because they're good at it, they really need to do other sports so their muscles get used in different ways. And the same thing goes for you. And if that means every day you do yoga 4 or 5 times a week, go for a walk once a week for an hour and change it up. You'll be surprised at what it does to your body. So exercising for me 4 to 5 times a week. That is number one. And you can find the time. If you get up like me at 5 o'clock in the morning, I usually work out around lunch hour. If I can't work out at lunch hour, I usually go for a walk or do something in the evening time. So find the time, either get up earlier, go to bed a little bit later, go for a walk after dinner with your spouse. Find some way that you can make it an important part of your life. Because if you don't, then nobody else is. Your doctor's always telling you to exercise. Your spouse is probably wanting you to exercise. And it may not be for the looks or the change in the body composition or being leaner or more muscular or whatever. Sometimes it's just good for the stress, good for the head, good for the digestion, good for so many other things with your adrenal glands, and just getting a sweat every day if you can is even better. So get some kind of exercise, find what works for you, and find out if it doesn't work for you. If you don't like it, try some other things. Especially with this quarantine thing right now, we got a lot more time on our hands probably than a lot of us are used to. Hey, maybe reach out and take some classes online, find a yoga class, or if you have a pool, heck, go use it. Or just go for a walk. Bike riding, I love cycling, so it's a great thing to do. All right, so exercise, find your movement, and do it consistently. And I will say this, if you're over the age of 35 or 40, somewhere in that, you're going to start to need to add stretching. I recommend starting earlier. I was super stubborn as a younger person and only stretched when it was required for a sport. So you learn as you get older that it is very important. Loosen up those muscles, whether it's at the beginning or the end of the workout, or heck, if you're just sitting on the couch watching TV, get down on the floor. You can do a handful of stretches. I posted a super easy stretch routine to do. I'm going to be posting more. Easy to do, fun to do. Maybe if you have some children, have them jump along. They can always do that. Okay? So up next is going to be eating healthy 85% of the time, which is what I try to work on and what I try to do. So we're going to get to that next.